You're also working with Raju Hirani ji on Dunki.
Yes, it's my second collaboration.
Can you tell us a little more about what's going to happen? कुछ तो बता दो.
मैं बस यही बोलूँगी कि जो शाहरुख खान की फ़ैन थी एज अ शाहरुख खान द हीरो की फ़ैन थी, अभी वो शाहरुख खान द पर्सन की फ़ैन हो गई है.
मणि रत्नम जी के साथ पहला एसोसिएशन शुरू होता है विद रावण.
मैं रावण में एक इंटर्न थी.
अच्छा.
और उन्होंने ही मुझे मेरा नेक्स्ट फिल्म मैंने उर्मी की एंड देन मनी सर की कडल की एंड it was a very big deal for a 23-year-old me at that time to be able to call myself a Mani Ratnam costume designer.
Tell us what have you loved about Aishwarya Rai Bachchan?
Ash ma'am के साथ मैंने जो सबसे पहले काम चालू किया था in 2008, I remember she was talking to me and I couldn't move my eyes from her face because she is how people say the most beautiful woman on the planet. Hi guys, this is Eka Lakhani and you're watching me on Bollywood Hungama.
Welcome to Bollywood Hungama, guys. My name is Urmin. Today I have someone who is the film industry's most favorite celebrity stylist and fashion designer. Please welcome Eka Lakhani.
Hi Urmin.
How are you doing?
Very well, very comfortable.
है ना? I'm also feeling very comfortable. ऐसे मैं बैठ गई हूँ आपके
हाँ,
घर एकदम.
same.
मतलब अब और बताइए क्या चल रहा है
I
आपकी?
think we'll have a nice conversation, coffee पी के.
Exactly, that's how it should be.
Yeah.
I think interviews need to be just conversation.
I agree. It should be chilled, relaxed. Like I've never been so comfortable in any interview.
Yay! It's so good to see you. My first question to you is, Eka, are you... This is very funny. Are you Pooh from K3G who looks at people and say, 2 minus?
Not at all. I think there will be people who will be looking at me and saying things like that because in spite of being a stylist, I am someone who's extremely casual, extremely not decked up in my everyday life. Like I'm really the most relaxed person I know.
No, I think like, you know, this is your I woke up like that look.
Wow. That's there, but it took me a lot to get this, you know, because I'm someone who believes in comfort. I'm someone who believes that people should be, what looks good is when you're comfortable and confident in your own skin. And for me, that's what I try to bring about in my profession as well. And personally, I believe that. So you'll always see me very comfortable.
अब ये बताएं कितना ये जो लाइन आपने कही है, how much of it is actually true in the world of glamour?
तो कभी कभी ऐसे लुक्स होते हैं जो थोड़े अनकंफर्टेबल से हो जाते हैं फॉर इट टू लुक गुड बट काफ़ी बार एटलीस्ट व्हेन आई एम ट्राइंग टू पुट आउट अ लुक आई लुक एट इट दैट माई क्लाइंट्स द एक्टर्स आई एम वर्किंग विद are comfortable क्योंकि वो अगर comfortable नहीं होंगे तो their face will show it, you know. They look not very confident and I never want that. तो look के चक्कर में ना comfort में इतना नहीं खो देती हूँ. Little for vanity of course, right. But more or less I keep it comfortable.
Well, you do a fantastic job. We love the looks that you create, whether it's for films or for promotions. पर I'm going to go all the way back to 2010. जहाँ मणि रत्नम जी के साथ पहला एसोसिएशन शुरू होता है विद रावण एंड वाओ वी आर इन 2023 ऐश्वर्या राय इन दैट फिल्म there's PS1 and 2 that came. How do you feel when you look back at your journey?
Honestly speaking, 2010 भी नहीं 2008 is when the association started. The film released in 2010. तो अगर मैं 2008 से काउंट करूँ तो this becomes my 15th year with working with Mani sir. And looking back at 2008, I remember seeing this girl who is full of dreams, who's full of excited enthu cutlet, who wants to just go there and do more work and just work. Like मेरे को और कुछ था नहीं. I didn't have कि मुझे ये काम करना है, वो काम करना है. I want to achieve this, achieve that. ऐसा कुछ नहीं था. I just wanted to work every day and I just wanted to. I was enjoying being on a film set. So that child back then who had big dreams but didn't know what exactly her dreams were, in these last 15 years, I feel that I have figured out कि अच्छा what are my dreams? अच्छा मुझे कहाँ तक पहुँचना है? अच्छा क्या करना है? And एक करके I've been like ticking the boxes. अब तक बहुत सारे boxes बचे हैं. अब तक बहुत लंबी journey बाकी है. But the journey so far has been really brilliant.
But all this about how your looks need to be at an airport, in the gym, or maybe even if you're at home, ये सारी चीज़ें अभी highlight हुई है. Back in 2010, was it difficult for you to explain to people कि आप क्या करती हैं?
See, I have mostly been a costume designer for films. Styling came up to my life much later, like 2-3 साल पहले ही शायद मैंने शुरू किया है. तो पिक्चरों में तो वैसा था नहीं, you know. So when we were doing films, मेरे लिए कैरेक्टर था. The director used to explain कि वो कैसे विजुलाइज करते हैं कैरेक्टर को. एक्टर्स के साथ फिर मीटिंग, एक्टर्स कैसे विजुलाइज कर रहे हैं, और उसमें फिर मैं मेरा क्या कंट्रीब्यूशन डाल सकती हूँ फॉर इट टू रियली लुक like a complete picture. तो that was the process in the early beginning years. तो तभी ना तो ये gym look, ना तो airport look, all this wasn't really important. What was important and what is more important for me as a stylist and as a costume designer has always been the story. कि ये look की पीछे कहानी क्या है, ये जो look हम कर रहे हैं, is it relevant, does it make sense, are we just, I don't do a look just so that there is another look that we can give out. I really want my every look to have a story behind it, a thought process behind it, you know, something which is more meaningful. तो मेरा वो एक constant, you know, रहा है with everything that we do, me and my team. हम लोग हमेशा सोचते हैं कि इससे क्या हो रहा है, like, you know, what are we doing, what are we achieving. तो वो एक हमेशा से पीछे रहा है.
एंड आई थिंक आप एक ऐसे डायरेक्टर के साथ, एक ऐसे शख्स के साथ काम करती हैं हु इन हिमसेल्फ डज अ लॉट ऑफ रिसर्च इन हिज फिल्म्स. मणि रत्नम जी हैज़, यू नो, एवरीथिंग टू द टी. तो क्या ये आपके लिए एक डबल रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी हो जाती है दैट इवन यू नीड टू, यू नो, बैक इट अप विथ योर काइंड ऑफ अ रिसर्च? क्योंकि कुछ पीरियड ड्रामाज बने हैं, कुछ ऐसे फिल्म्स बने हैं जहाँ पर आपको एक पर्टिकुलर लुक उस एरा का क्रिएट करना होता हो. So, how exciting is this?
You know, the thing with Mani sir is, मैं रावण में एक इंटर्न थी.
अच्छा.
और उन्होंने मुझे मेरा नेक्स्ट फिल्म, मैंने उर्मी की एंड देन मनी सर की कडल की, एंड it was a very big deal for a 23-year-old me at that time to be able to call myself a Mani Ratnam costume designer. तो तब से ही वो एक एहसास है कि आई हैव टू प्रूव माई सेल्फ टू हिम. आई कांट लेट हिम डाउन. यू नो, ही इज़ माई गुरु. आई हैव लर्नड एवरीथिंग अबाउट फिल्म्स फ्रॉम हिम, अबाउट फिल्म मेकिंग फ्रॉम हिम, अबाउट कॉस्ट्यूम डिज़ाइनिंग फ्रॉम हिम. तो वो एक रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी हमेशा है कि वॉट एवर आई डू, आई कांट पुट मनी सर, you know, I can't put him down, I can't disappoint him. And shockingly this has not only been for Mani sir's films. अगर मैं और भी किसी के साथ काम कर रही हूँ, मेरे मन में यही होता है कि Mani sir will be proud of me or no. So you know, एक जैसे like you want your father to be always proud of your work. For me, Mani sir was someone who has been someone who I want him to be proud of what I'm doing. तो ये इसके वजह से when we were doing Punni and Selvan, the responsibility was humongous. Like I didn't know क्या मैं ये कर पाऊँगी. दिस वॉज मनी सर्स ड्रीम प्रोजेक्ट एंड आई हैव नोन ऑफ दिस सिंस आई स्टार्टेड वर्किंग विथ हिम. तो अगर मनी सर का ये ड्रीम प्रोजेक्ट है तो मेरा तो ये मतलब महा ड्रीम प्रोजेक्ट होना चाहिए, यू नो. सो विद दैट रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी द रिसर्च दैट आई डिड वॉज एक्सट्रीम. ऑल्सो द फिल्म रिक्वायर्ड दैट बिकॉज ये एक ऐसी कहानी थी पुनी एंड सेल्वन जो जनरेशन्स इसको जानती है. देयर हैव बीन डेकेड्स who've read this novel. Like so many people from my team बोलते थे कि you know my grandmother's favorite character is this and my grandfather like this, and I'm like wow. तो ना ही मुझे उनको प्लीज करना है, grandfather grandmother को, उनके parents को, then the today's generation.
So many generations.
There's so many generations you have to connect to, and which is very difficult when it comes to costumes because if you see films and costumes from the earlier generation, उनका aesthetic बहुत अलग था. So for me, I had to figure a line of work which will please different generations, which would please Mani sir, which would not be wrong in terms of culture representation, which would go correctly with the characters that were written in the novel and the way Mani sir imagined them, and the actors had to, you know, convert themselves, and we were working with really big names. Aishwarya Rai Bachchan, with who I started my career, I was working with her after all these years. So वो एक जो pressure था और वो responsibility था, वो इतना बड़ा था that I think I pushed myself a lot more than what I usually would.
What about fabrics? When you are in your research, क्या आपको अपने fabrics पर भी काम करना होता है कि शायद ये जो look है वो उस ज़माने में नहीं दिखता होगा या फिर ये fabric उस वक्त नहीं होता होगा?
Yeah, so that was, you know, a big catch-22 क्योंकि मनी सर ने मुझे कॉस्ट्यूम रैकी के लिए तांजावुर भेजा था और मैं टेम्पल्स में जाके स्कल्पचर्स देख रही थी, आर्ट उधर का, यू नो, आई वाज फिगरिंग आउट, टेकिंग अ लॉट ऑफ इंस्पिरेशन फ्रॉम आर्किटेक्चर. तो ये जो स्कल्पचर्स थे विच आर वेरी फेमस थे, there are chola bronzes also, and there are these really nice stone sculptures. इनमें most of them were top bare, and the fabrics were only used in the lower half, so of the body. So now obviously films में we have to take the creative liberty. How do we do this? तो in sculptures में there was a lot of jewelry used, and that's when I realized कि हम jewelry तो काफ़ी use करेंगे, and we'll take our inspiration and give a top how do the drapes go. There will be a lot of visualization. वहाँ पे हम weavers को मिले, वो weavers जिनके generations के weavers रह चुके हैं, so they had their grandparents and their grandparents and their grandparents who used to actually work back then as weavers as well. तो उनसे पता चला कि what was the first fabric that was introduced, trade culture क्या था, silks कहाँ से आ रहे थे, cotton कहाँ बन रहा था. So we kind of we need this, before you take your creative liberties, you need to know what was there, and then how much liberty can you take. So if cotton was the base fabric, मैं creative liberty ले सकती थी कि silk was coming in from China. So that's how the silk route, so that's how we probably started this, कि हम लोग fabrics कौन सा use करेंगे. फिर the embroideries or the design motifs, this again came from the temples. उनकी stairs पे, उनके walls पे, ceilings पे, there are beautiful carvings. So ये carvings के हम लोग ने motifs बनाए. So we had a very, बीच में हमें COVID मिल गया, so COVID में और research चले गया. So we took our time, we actually enjoyed taking our time in making the costumes. And then आपने सुना होगा, we've done hundreds of look tests, with every actors. That look test process was also really, really something that shaped and made Aishwarya Rai into a Nandini, Trisha, into a Kundabai, Shobita into Vanati. So it was something that took its course of time.
Wow, it all feels so surreal when you watch it on the big screen. But इसके पीछे जो काम जा रहा है, वो मतलब जब आप बात कर रही हैं, that's when we're realizing that this is all thought through, right from top to bottom. उनके costumes में, jewelry में, सब कुछ. ये बता that for people to understand a little more about costume designing, how does the process work? Do you get a script? Are you sitting with it for a while? Do you go through the script? How is the process exactly?
So the thing is that costume designing is not only a creative job which involves to deal with fashion. Costume designing has multiple aspects to it. For me, costume designing is a way that you can take the story of the film ahead through the use of clothes. So that's how I take costume designing, कि हम character को किस तरह बनाते हैं. So the very important thing for this is that you read your script very thoroughly. हमें script मिलती है, we go through the script, we do our costume breakdowns, कि this character has, for example, say 50 changes में से 10 changes घर के हैं, 10 changes office के हैं, 10 changes night. You have to kind of break that down. And फिर इतने changes में आप character का हर एक हिस्सा life का कैसे बता सकते हो. So that is how you come to know about this. उसमें you can take, if they are rich, are they middle class, are they poor, what are they going to an office to work in a corporate field, are they working as a theatre personality. तो ये सब उनकी जो life का you get to know from the script, you put that into the costumes. So costume designing is not about what you see on the red carpet, it's not about making the most trending looks, it's more about making the character. So that's how you go through it.
Wow. PS1, PS2 की अगर हम बात करें तो इन दोनों में आई एम श्योर दैट जो कॉस्ट्यूम्स बने थे, यू हैड टू मेक देम, दे वर नॉट लाइक रेडीली अवेलेबल. माई क्वेश्चन इज व्हाट हैपेंस आफ्टर द फिल्म?
So after the film, a lot of the costumes are used in whatever the production house is making next. They kind of reuse the costumes. We try and see if it can be used for, if not the main lead actors, can it be used for secondary actors. Sometimes they do an auction when there are costumes which are really prominent or which have become iconic. They auction it, and usually the auction money goes to a really nice organization. So in a charity organization. So that's how we reutilize costumes, and that's how it is.
Tell us, what have you loved about Aishwarya Rai Bachchan the most, working with her? कौन सा एक ऐसा लुक है जो आपका हमेशा फेवरेट रहा है उनका?
ऐश मैम के साथ मैंने जो सबसे पहले काम चालू किया था in 2008, I remember I was just smitten जब मैंने उनको देखा. And she was talking to me and I couldn't move my eyes from her face because she is how people say the most beautiful woman on the planet, and I was just mesmerized by her. And I realized it will be very difficult to work with her if I'm going to be so much in awe of her, but I learned a lot from her. Pleats कैसे करने हैं, pins कहाँ लगाने हैं, कहाँ पे करे, तो she taught me a lot. Like I think working with her in Ravan, and working with Manisa on Ravan taught me a lot about what my job is. After all these years, when I have worked with her again, she's still the same. She's the most disciplined actor I've ever worked with. She's the most beautiful actor I've ever worked with. She expects you to know your job. She expects you to do your research. And she eventually leaves it with you. Like she trusts you with what you're doing, which I think is a great thing, and it's a great learning thing from her. And I feel that after all these years, she's still Ash ma'am for me. I will always be there whenever she needs me or whenever she feels that I should work with her. It was the biggest opportunity for me to re-collaborate with her after all these years. तभी मैं intern थी, अभी मैं costume designer थी. So it was like, for me, it was like my career coming to a circle.
Yes, I'm sure it must have been a huge growth also.
Yeah,
It's so nice to see you, go places as well.
Thank you.
अब ये बताया that there's also another woman who mesmerizes us with her look, which is Shobita. In everything that she does, especially on OTT, you have worked with her quite closely. Does she also have inputs when she's working with you? Because it seems like she's very fashion-y inclined.
Yeah.
That's the word.
Yeah, so Shobita is an icon. Shobita is a diva. She's a fashion icon, So before I worked with Shobita, I always was inquisitive about Shobita. I was like, wow, what does she eat to look this good, But and then I worked with her on Punniyin Selvan 1 and 2, and then for the promotions. And I think that with Shobita, her involvement is very important because she understands fashion, she understands research, she understands fabrics, she understands what could make or break a look. So it's not that you go to Shobita, कि ये मैंने imagine किया and this is your look. With Shobita, the process is more of understanding what do you want to wear, this is what I think, should we do this, then we experiment, we get couple of things, through even the costumes for the film that we've made for Punniyin Selvan. She always wore the clothes, and she said what she felt like. She said, I feel like dancing. Or she said, I feel happy. Or she said, I feel a little vulnerable. So it went with her mood, कि वो outfit उसे कैसे feel करवा रहा है. So we did that with her. And I think I recently put up a reel as well where Shobita, every outfit of the look test, we had her twirling and dancing, and she was doing her poses. So it was great fun. And there's a lot to learn from her as well.
Now I want to talk about another film that comes in the year 2023, and it is so the opposite of PS1 and 2, which is Rocky or Rani.
Oh wow, yeah.
All smiles for this film, all thumbs up for Rocky Randhawa.
Rocky Randhawa, this side. Yeah.
कितना exciting था आपके लिए to work on a character like this? How many from top to toe, if you can say, at one point कितने brands थे Rocky Randhawa पे?
मैं गिनती हूँ.
You can tell us the name.
I won't have my numbers because he wore everything.
Okay,
Rocky
just tell
Randhawa.
us as many brands as you can tell us.
Oh, Rocky wore Gucci, he wore Versace, he wore Amiri, there was Dolce & Gabbana, there was Prada, there was Louis Vuitton. He wore Manish Malhotra, he wore Sabyasachi, he wore Abu Sandeep. So Rocky ka wardrobe, this is what it was made of. I think I've named most of the brands that we've used. There are many, many, many more. Anything that was really good looking in Rocky's world, he had it.
He had a cool swag to him, and I'm sure that the outfits just added to it. And then there was like this bottle that he's holding and all. So जब आप इनका character visualize कर रही थी, what were the things you were sure that you definitely don't want to make it cliche?
Cliche तो नहीं था, because Rocky has no cliches, he has no qualms. But I'll have to tell you that a lot of Rocky came from Karan and a lot of Rocky came from Ranveer, and I can't be called the sole costume designer or stylist for Rocky Randhawa. There were times जब मुझे लग रहा था मैं करण की assistant हूँ and Karan is doing the costumes because he's so good with brands, he's so good with breaking his character. He knew exactly what Rocky should be like, in his head. And the first narration that he gave, he was very clear, Eka, this is how I see Rocky and this is what Rocky would like. And there were days that we used to just see and this is very Rocky, this is not Rocky, this is Rocky. So there was a lot of that happening. We knew that Rocky gym jata hai, so we put the zipper in his hand. Ranveer used to wear his mother's solitaires because they were big, and Rocky Randhawa likes everything that is sparkly and big.
Yeah.
He matched his car with his clothes, which was actually accident, ऐसे एक दिन मैंने जो costume किया था और आर्ट ने जो गाड़ी लाई थी इसका color match हो गया, and then we decided that should be the thing, and we used that again in the end where he wears pink. Again, pink was something we decided कि Rocky के लिए लड़के pink नहीं पहनते, Rocky के लिए लड़के रोते नहीं है. So Rocky had a lot of these things about himself, which we see that in a very subtle way as the film progresses, we see that it changes for him. And which is why in the last scene we see him wear pink, which is like a full circle, कि he's worn Rani pink, now Mard pink पहन रहा है, Rocky pink पहन रहा है, and that is his transformation. So in a very subtle way this was done, which is just simply Karan Johar genius.
That is so good to know.
Yes, yeah.
Ranveer Singh as a person himself is very colorful, very bold. So were there times where it was difficult to differentiate between Ranveer Singh, the man, and Rocky Randhawa because their styles quite can clash?
So Ranveer has had a flair. He's had a lot of fun with his outfits, in the last couple of years, but he still has a method to it. He will still make it look very fashionable. He will still make it look very, he sets trends. He makes it look great. With Rocky, that wasn't the case. With Rocky, if a thing looks nice and expensive, Rocky would wear it. It's not that Rocky knew how to pair the clothes correctly.
Right.
So उसमें वो एक बहुत बड़ा फर्क था between Rocky and Ranveer. But working with Ranveer, I have realized that he puts a lot into the look that he puts out every day. With Rocky, उसको जो अच्छा लगता था वो बस पहनता था. So that was basically the difference.
Do you have a favorite look of Rocky Randhawa?
Yes, I do. I love the Versace robe that he's walking on the terrace. I think it was just iconic Rocky moment for me. I love the look where he's wearing this Gucci shirt when he comes to meet Alia for the first time with the zipper in his hand. I love the Sabya look that he wears for the dance.
The dance.
For Dolare. And I really, really also like his wedding outfit, which was done by Manish, and the Rani pink outfit, which was an Abu Sandeep. So these are a few of my favorite Rocky looks.
So, इस film के बाद there has been an association with you and Ranveer, right? Are we going to see what are the new looks that we're going to see of Ranveer Singh now out there for film promotions, for maybe awards night? What is it that you have in mind?
अभी बता देंगे तो मज़ा ही नहीं आएगा देखने को. So let the looks come out. But yeah, we do put in a lot into every look, and I get very happy when people like a look, or when a look clicks. I'm just like so excited. But it's great working with Ranveer. Like for me, I feel I don't think I've ever been told him, but he is my most favorite actor, and he's always been my most favorite actor. And working with him so closely has just made me so much more aware about what should be paired with what, and what can look good and what can't look good. And Ranveer kind of spoils you because he makes everything work. So sometimes when the same thing doesn't work on another person, you're like, but मैंने ये किया था और ये trick काम तो की थी. But it's also Ranveer who makes things work,
Another exciting thing that's happening this month is Coffee with Karan. Something that everybody talks about. मतलब एक episode आता है, हफ्ते भर उसकी बातें होती है. You're styling for the show.
I'm styling Karan Johar for the show.
So tell us, how is it styling for somebody who himself is a designer, who understands style, who's known to be having style statement outfits?
I think styling Karan is really interesting because बहुत बार मुझे पता I learn new names of brands sometimes from him. I get to know what is in trend from him, you know, because he's so good with
Which
fashion.
is the brand that he introduced you to?
Song of the Mute was one of the brands which I heard, which I got associated with once I started working with him.
Okay.
ऐसे एक दो brands है जो you know मेरे को Karan से पता चलते कि अच्छा ये करना चाहिए, ये नहीं करना चाहिए. Like you know, those are things that I often learn from him.
Yeah.
He is a fashion genius. He actually knows what works on screen, what doesn't work on screen, what a makeup should be like. So there's a lot to learn from Karan, and I also like that he trusts you. So once he's given me the job of styling him, he will tell me what he likes or doesn't like, but he won't really push me कि नहीं ये ही करना है. Like he'll let me explore, and I go back with looks with him. And working on coffee is, I love coffee. I'm a coffee fan, you know. So it's really exciting to be styling him for coffee. This is my second season with him.
There are a few films that you know we need to talk about. One has to be Shershah. इस फिल्म के लिए आपको एक नॉमिनेशन भी मिला था.
हाँ, पर अवार्ड नहीं मिला.
अवार्ड तो प्यार है, बहुत सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट अवार्ड तो वही है, प्यार है. But tell us, you know, how was it working for a film like Shershah, which requires, you know, a certain kind of styling?
Shershah is a very special film. Shershah is also like a biography, and I have done a few biographies, you know. So when Shershah came to me, I realized that I will have to meet the family of Captain Vikram. I'll have to understand, you know, army के rules and regulations, army uniforms में exactly क्या badges होते हैं, क्या नहीं होते हैं, because the representation has to again be very thorough, very correct. We had a lot of support. We had people guiding us with what is correct as a uniform, what is wrong with the uniform. Okay. Sid was lovely as Captain Vikram Batra. You know, the story is such where the styling of it, you know, there are high-waisted jeans, high-waisted uniforms. The fit of it is very different from the fit you are used to today. So I think beginning में he was also getting used to क्या कर रहे हैं हम लोग, कैसे कपड़े पहन रहे हैं. But it was amazing because I saw him. When we put the uniform on him, he completely transformed. Vishnu Vardhan, our director, he was very particular about things needed to look real, things needed to look aged correctly. He didn't want anything to be chaka-chak, he didn't want anything to be brand new, ke abhi dukaan se khareed ke laaye hai. So I think when you have someone who is that particular with their vision, you want to just give them everything that they want. Also, I was working with Kiara that time, and it was my first film with her. No, actually, I'd worked with her on Lust Stories earlier, but with Shershah, she was perfect. Like, I think she was everything that Vishnu had imagined. And when I started styling her, we went really simple. And the more simpler we went, the more beautiful she was looking. So I feel that Shershah is one of my most favorite films that I have done, you know, and I have lovely memories associated with the film.
कितनी amazing बात है that you know, as a designer you have to work on films where you can visualize, you can have that creative liberty, and films like this also showcases that how after your research you have to still stick to reality, because we are talking about, you know, a real person, real hero. Sanju was also another film. Did you have to sit with Sanjay Dutt and understand his way of, you know, dressing up?
So that part for me was done by Raju sir and Ranveer, because they already sat with Sanjay Dutt. They took all the क्या brands पहनते हैं, क्या perfume लगाते हैं, boots कौन से होते हैं, denims कौन से होते हैं. So they already had a lot of information when I met them. But yes, we went through, we scrutinized a lot of his images. Also, what happened during Sanju is, you know, you're not only dealing with Sanjay Dutt, the actor, you're dealing with Ranveer Kapoor, who's a very known face, a very prominent face, and now you have to make him look like someone else. So the prosthetic, the makeup and the hair team, they were just brilliant. And when they are doing such a good job, I can't be left behind. So I was doing more research, and, you know, you're kind of figuring out what Sanju wore in his real life back then and what he wore in front of the camera in the films he did.
Right.
तो हमें दोनों टाइप के कपड़े देखने थे, और उसके थ्रू we had to make the costumes for our film Sanju. तो that was a different, because वो film, his films clothes के pictures we were still getting, but his personal life के images we weren't getting too many, you know. So we were trying to find Paps culture इतना बड़ा नहीं था back then, वरना we would have gotten a lot of images. But still there were images of if he's attending a show, or if he's attending a movie premiere, or if he's going out with his father or his family. So the few images that we got, we replicated those looks actually to make it look as real as possible.
You're also working with Raju Hirani ji on Dunki.
Yes, it's my second collaboration.
Can you tell us a little more about what's going to happen? कुछ तो बता दो.
मैं बस यही बोलूँगी कि जो शाहरुख खान की फ़ैन थी, एज अ शाहरुख खान द हीरो की फ़ैन थी, अभी वो शाहरुख खान द पर्सन की फ़ैन हो गई है. एंड यू नो, आई फील राजू सर के साथ इट्स रियली इट्स माई सेकेंड फिल्म विथ हिम, एंड आई रियली रिस्पेक्ट हिम, एंड I'm very happy with you know, our association in Dunki as well, but I can't say anything more about the film.
अच्छा, tell us about Leo. Leo तो की बात हो सकती है.
Leo. So Leo, I worked with Leo. I did Trisha's costumes in Leo, and I'm really excited about the film. That's actually all I can say, because it's a very simplistic look for Trisha. It's a look which is very different from what we did in PS1 and PS2 and for her promotions. Like till now, I was only decking up Trisha. और गहने पहना रही थी, सिल्क्स पहना रही थी, हेयर डूज कर रहे थे. But when it came to Leo, we've given a very realistic approach. We've made her really simple. We've given her, you know, very कॉटन मलमल सलवार कमीज़ें, स्वेटर, शॉल्स, जो एक्चुअली अगर आप ठंड में कहीं रहते हो तो आप क्या पहनोगे, यू नो, सॉक्स, वुलन सॉक्स. एंड शी इज़ वेरी वेरी रियल एज अ कैरेक्टर, एंड आई एम रियली एक्साइटेड you know, about working with Lokesh as well, because he's someone who I really was excited about working with, and when I met him for the look test, I was so thrilled that Trisha also told me, okay, are you happy now? I said, yeah, I'm happy I met him.
Well, Eka, it's amazing to see the body of work that you've been doing. I think you're mastering the craft every year.
Thank you.
I'm so glad to sit down and have this conversation and know a little bit more about costume designing and styling and fashion designing. मतलब अब मैं घर से बाहर भी निकलना चाहती हूँ ऐसे एकदम, like I want a perfect look, and it could be something that makes me comfortable.
Something that makes you comfortable. Hi guys, this is Eka Lakhani and you're watching me on Bollywood Hungama.